Welcome around the Workstand. We've got hi guys. um, in this audio media, Ryan chose to wave. So if you're not on YouTube, that was the weird pause.
I'm old-fashioned. Somebody says hi, I wave.
I know, right? This is rolling into my intro. Yeah, so we've got a lot going on at Workstand, and we're really excited to kind of share our upcoming, ongoing initiatives, things that we're working on to help retailers out. And kind of rolling into fall, this is a really great time that, our bike shop partners are working on the business rather than so much in the business as things kind of slow down or we're in a little bit of a transitionary period. So we're here to kind of talk about our POS.
Yeah, and isn't that fun? Because we've been doing this for a quarter of a century, 25 years, and we're used to the websites and the marketing and the supplier parts of things, but we've been working really hard on our new POS offering, and so it's kind of fun for us after 25 years to have something new to be excited about.
Yeah, right? I mean, I always joke that there's, in marketing, a lot of times there's no new ideas. We're just kind of like turning something around, taking a new spin on something. But for the first time, I actually, I have to try a little bit harder. I got to learn something new. Talk about POS.
You're so hard on yourself. You're always learning. And it's not like the point of sale it's new for a lot of people, but I mean, It's been in the market for about a year. It's been heavily tested by some early adopters throughout the season. And so I think if anything, I think we're just going to be introducing so many more people to it this fall. I mean, Mark, your phone's going to be ringing off the hook.
Yeah, Brian and I are already doing a lot of, we call them demos, but the features are live in all Workstand accounts now. So some folks are finding them and having questions. But yeah, we're talking a lot about it. And I think that's just going to get, more and more busy as folks see those features and realize that, hey, there's a whole new set of things that are there that have been tested out and are growing rapidly. I mean, you can see it almost daily when you log in and look at it. There's just new features and new tweaks on the existing features coming.
We're moving fast right now.
Yeah,
and we need to. Did you see the brain survey they did, I think, 2 weeks ago of asking shops about their point of sale system? Yeah. 35%. Like I think 35% say they're likely to switch in the next 12 months. And that says something about the state of the market. And honestly, what we saw when we chose to jump into it is there was, certain needs of certain shops weren't being met. We heard over and over again that shops trust us. They wanted us to be doing this. And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So we have had a lot of folks using it. What I know Brian and I are going to be busy talking about it a lot with both existing retailers and the phone's already ringing for people that have no existing relationship with us. But, what do we really want to get out there to make sure that our existing clients know about that offering?
Well, I think it's important to know that it at this point it is proven. It's all we delivered for the early adopters all summer long, and the reviews have been really great. I think you both have heard the same things I have. It's simple, it's modern, it's easy to use. It has exactly the features that my shop uses. And of course those early adopters have the privilege of being really great partners with us, and they share great ideas. And I think they also appreciate that we're a small company and we care about their feedback, and they offer feedback and they see it showing up right away. So I think if, for listeners or just know that this is a good option for you, and your peers that have been using it really like it. And at a minimum, you should learn more about it.
Yeah. I want to, this isn't necessarily something every one of our clients or prospective clients care about, but the feedback thing, I want to do a little pat on the back to the company because Alex, who's been on the podcast with us, product owner, product manager, his team, the whole product team, the dev team, the way they've worked, we have a feedback loop now that we hadn't had previously to that here at the company. And so we really are able to act really quickly. That team really is paying attention to this feature. Doesn't mean we're going to make everything everybody wants by any stretch of the imagination, because part of this is some of the existing offerings, as powerful as they are, have proven to be overkill for a lot of stores. So we aren't going to build everything. We're going to build the features that make a difference every day in the store. But man, I'm really proud of that feedback loop, because that's something that, as somebody who's been here since 2011, that's refreshing for us as a company to be able to tell our clients it's not a black hole, that there's information. Your input is getting to the right people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like a huge piece of that too. I think, well, we hear it all the time, or I used to, especially when I was working on the agency team as an account coordinator or account manager. People would ask for, a new feature or an enhancement. And the development process is long. It's very complicated. But I do feel like we're really turning out these new features and enhancements so much quicker. I think because we have this list of things that we're already working on, but that feedback is helping us prioritize things. So maybe if we can bump something up, it's a little bit simpler and turn it out in a couple weeks. Some things like that. So,
and the other advantage, to be frank, is that it's all new code. So it's all built on the backbone of a system that is proven and durable. But that 25-year-old system for pure ecom, we still have to do a lot of underlying backbone work but with the point of sale, it's brand new. And so if there's a small enhancement needs to take place, you're not having to go deep into the system to be able to access it. It's all built on the most up-to-date code.
Yeah, that's another good benefit, I think, too.
And we talked about, or I did, everything, the right features for our industry and our clients.
Yeah.
And we talked about the fact that no other provider like that has the history we have in the industry, a quarter of a century of that. But what are the other reasons? I mean, I just think we're a great solution for so many of our existing clients. But the early research is something like 30% of bike shops don't have a point of sale, or maybe it's an old, outdated one. Mm-hmm. What are the key points they need to know to get them to finally open up to this technology?
Yeah. Well, I think you touched on, of course, we're trusted. We've been doing this for 25 years. It's all we do is help bike shops with technology. We were the company to help bike shops adopt to e-commerce. And thank goodness we did. I mean, the market has definitely gone the direction that we thought it would. So we know your business. We're friendly. I mean, is that why you choose a software? I think it should be a factor. I mean, you should know if you're going to pick up the phone, this is a company that I can trust. They're going to talk to me. They're going to help me. They care about my business. Mm-hmm. But if you set aside kind of those character issues with the company, we have everything you need to streamline your bike shop. I mean, it makes this, we can make this, the checkout process so much faster, the ordering process, the managing your inventory, looking up items, saving you time, not having to go to B2B sites. We have so much information in the system, and it's all just, built from the ground up to meet the needs of a modern bike shop. And of course, there's just no debate that we have the best data out there. Every product that a shop is going to sell exists in the point of sale. No more data entry, no worry about duplicate products, no worry about building out additional details so it shows up on your website. It's just, plug in and get to work. So I think, we could go into feature by feature comparisons with some of the popular alternatives. We're very competitive with the features that get used most in a bike shop. And, it's not just easy and approachable for an owner, because that's obviously the decision maker, but ultimately the owner is going to need to be able to, have a system that the typical frontline shop employee, whether it's a mechanic who's been working there for 40 years or a college kid who's coming in for a summer job, you can't focus your time on training your staff in depth on a complicated system. That's why we made it really easy. And so I think that's an important piece for people to understand. When you look at the giant feature lists on these, some of the alternatives, what am I going to use? Mm-hmm. And we have everything you're going to use.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard not to, for me especially, I think it's kind of what I do and how I look at our teams and our products. It's hard not to kind of talk more about the customer service aspect. I think software can be very kind of cold and impersonal, and I think we offer the opposite experience.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Mark, you've said we humanize software. I mean,
I don't think I said
do.
that, but I wish I had.
That's great. I'm gonna take that. That's gonna be in our next. If you get an email about our POS, that's probably gonna be in there at some point.
Well, but it is one of the things that we always get good comments about is how we support the products and the services we offer.
Yeah.
And it's just not common anymore to be able to, not everybody wants to, but it's not common to be able to pick the phone up and call and talk to a support rep, somebody that knows both the industry, because to one extent or another, we all are riding bikes. Most of us have been in and around retail or bike shops. But not just that we know the software really well. Barbara's team, the support team, is just crazy how in-depth they know what's going on and how they work together to support each other. So you're not just talking to a person. No. And if you don't want to call, you can chat and email, and that's going to obviously flow right through to these new features. So I think it's something we can proudly stand up and go, you're just not going to get this level of interaction with most companies, let alone software companies.
Well, and the other thing you don't get with the alternatives is the depth of engagement in the bike industry we have. I mean, before we sat down here today, I just spent an hour on the phone with one of the major distributors talking strategy. I mean, not just talking kind of the nuts and bolts of kind of what needs to happen to make sure that we can support the new model year. I mean, we're talking about how do we help them empower more of their dealers to participate in the modern retail space. Mm-hmm. Those conversations aren't happening with some of the big national providers. We're the ones who are there with retailers, with suppliers, helping make the entire channel work. And then we try to be really pragmatic about our advocacy. We are some of the largest advocates for independent bike shops. And yet we don't cloud our relationship with suppliers by pretending that they don't have obligations to diversify their business. How do we keep those suppliers focused on investing and growing the IBD portion of their distribution, so then some of their new ventures complement a healthy IBD network? You're just not getting that from other partners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we've kind of talked about how I think the kind of core of our business kind of remains the same. It's kind of built on the backbone of our catalog, our product data, our supplier relationships, our customer service. But yeah, should we kind of get into maybe what our POS really has that can serve retailers and kind of help them kind of adapt to the modern retail world?
Yeah. Mark, what do you find yourself talking about the most?
The thing that we wanted to talk about a lot in the beginning was the visibility into the supply chain at different points in the sale process in the store. So, ringing a sale up, if you're not sure about a product, you can see both what you have in store and what's available at the enabled suppliers in that one interface. That same thing shows up in work orders. So we want to talk about that a lot, and that has been impressive. But I think what most stores ended up wanting to talk about was service and work orders. So we've done a lot of work on work orders. Mm-hmm. The key things you have to do in a store: you got to be able to ring a sale up. It's got to be easy. Anybody in the store has to be able to do it. Same thing applies in service. You've got to be able to efficiently take a bike in, record the pertinent details about the customer, the bike, the services required, and then be able to execute on that. Another big thing based on the feedback was the desire for integrated chat communication within those tickets. And so we went out and did that in a remarkably quick fashion. We call it conversations, so that's there. And then there's always an inventory part of a point of sale system. It is the place where that's the store's single point of truth. It's been that way for a long time. So the tools are there for purchase orders. How do you build a purchase order, get that executed, get that inventory received and available both in store and online? I mean, those are the key points if I had to give an elevator pitch. And I think I know we've got a product that for a lot of stores is just checking those boxes. And it's leaving out that stuff, like you said, Ryan. You might look at that big list and go, ooh, that's a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. Are you using a lot of stuff? Is it worth having that extra brain power required to deal with all that stuff when it's twice a year you might have ever touched that stuff? Let's focus on the things that do what I just said. Get people through the process quickly, get your staff back to doing what makes them productive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I always think about how I think in lots of different ways, we've tried to help inform retailers on how their e-commerce website could be such an awesome tool to utilize in store. Like if we had the bandwidth, I would want to travel around and like teach people how to utilize it in store in all the different ways. It can kind of like enhance their in-store experience. But I think I feel like I keep saying that. I know our POS, I think, is going to help kind of bridge that gap. Mark, you talked about how like supplier inventory is just visible kind of across the board. So anywhere that you're interacting with catalog data product, whether it's, sales, work orders, purchase orders, you can also see supplier inventory in those places. And I think that's a really streamlined approach. I think it's going to help just kind of, I don't know, elevate the in-store selling experience as well. You can kind of help your customers out in a new way, better way.
Yeah, I kind of poked around in Lightspeed the other day, and I had forgotten how challenging it is to find a product that might be at a supplier. I think I spent so much time lately in our system that I just take for granted that all the information should be there. I should be able to see that this warehouse has 4 in stock, and across all of my suppliers too. You're not just paired up with a single one. So yeah, Mark, I'm coming back to like, boy, I love the data story. But you're exactly right. Most of our customers, they just want to make sure that the ability to operate their store is more streamlined and efficient than it is today. Because people, it is so time consuming and emotionally taxing to run a shop. What are the little things you can do? Yeah, you know better than anybody. What are the little things you can do to just like bring a little bit more ease and efficiency and wouldn't it be horrible if there was more profitability or more sales? Like those are the things that we're focused on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I remember one of the things I think at the shop I worked at, it was just such a mystery between trying to educate everyone how to utilize the website or manage that piece. And we just didn't really have great processes and procedures in place. So, and the POS, but it's like, what if it's the same thing?
Yeah. And don't forget B2B sites. I mean, yes. And there's not just one unified one. I mean, you need to know all your key vendors in order to just figure out this thing that I'm telling the customer I want to order. Can I even get it? And so I don't know. I just see it as cumbersome.
Yeah.
But Mark, you kind of just, you blew right past.
That brought up another good thing is that moment where the employee in the store is logged into maybe HLC and JBI and they're flipping through things and they're trying to find that thing. They're trying not to let the customer see any of that information.
I was just thinking about that moment.
And I'm old enough to remember, Ryan, you are too, when we didn't do that, we had the book and you had to make sure you grabbed the non-price book.
Yeah.
So your choice is chance the consumer seeing the wholesale cost, or you go blind and chance you guess the wrong retail price. Mm-hmm. That all changes now because not only do you see that in one spot, but the customer's still not going to be sure sometimes what it is. Now you can click that thing and it shows them the product on your website, merchandised the way you want a consumer to see things. Like Susie said, we spent so much time trying to esoterically explain how to use the website to close those sales. This tool really closes that gap. And I don't know. So far, it's proven to be very valuable to our customers.
Yeah,
I think that's. Oh, sorry.
Seeing the eyebrows go up when you show that feature off is a ton of fun. Go ahead, Susie.
And I think sharing that moment with your customer where you're like, oh, you see this helmet model in this color, you would like a different size, different color. Let's check out the website. It's not only it's kind of elevating the experience on all levels and helping that customer see your website as the tool to utilize in the future. And maybe they didn't know that they could do that on their own.
Yeah. And just making sure our kind of listeners get this is like, because we've been saying something similar for a while, but your website was bolted onto another point of sale. Like when you're using the Workstand point of sale, it's all right there on a single screen. Like you add a product to an order or a purchase order, you click the product, it opens up a new tab on your website with all the information. So it's all just seamlessly integrated. Just such a better experience. Part-time employees, there's so many SKUs. Honestly, your most experienced employees, and obviously be able to just walk customers through everything that they need while they're shopping. So, Mark, earlier you brushed right past conversations, but like, man, that's a big deal. Like,
It is, yeah.
so many shops have been paying third-party services for SMS text messaging, to be able to reach out to a customer and ask for approval on a repair or follow up with somebody who bought a bike. That's all baked right in to Workstand now. So if you're in a work order and you want to message the customer and ask if they approve something, it's right there. Mm-hmm. And of course, customers love it. The vast majority would prefer to receive a text message than a phone call, and they're going to get back faster. And having that means just so much more productivity for your service department. No more hanging the parts on it, putting it back on a hook, moving to the new bike. You just get answers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is interesting. There's not to turn it back to how this affects us internally, but all this time we've been talking about websites and marketing. It's something that a lot of merchants aren't used to. And so they've got to take a bit of a leap of faith. We have to do a really good job explaining it. Every one of our merchants, most of them, for the most part, know a lot about point of sale systems. So it makes that a different and interesting conversation on our end as well. And that, of course, obviously teaches us a lot about what we need to be building. So I don't know. It's been fun, again, like I said, to have something new to work on.
I think that's true. But I don't want to overlook the fact that, like, there's this huge underserved portion of the market that doesn't know a lot about a point of sale. If they've never chosen to get one for whatever reason, maybe it's too complicated, too expensive. Where do I even start? We just help you overcome all of that. Like, there's no charge to use our point of sale, no strings attached. You just want to have a free Workstand account and use the point of sale, no problem. If you want to upgrade to include e-commerce, we've got 3 separate packages to help you do that, starting at $49 a month and going up from there. But you can configure it however you want. But if you're that shop who doesn't have a point of sale, who isn't able to track your inventory, as a cumbersome checkout process, can't connect to suppliers to take advantage of their D2C programs, you really you owe it to yourself to call us and at least see what we have, because I think you'll be impressed that it's actually a pretty easy thing to roll into your business.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of that, it is simple. So you can if you hear this and think that's great, or you see one of the emails Susie has sent, you can email info@workstand.com. Brian and I see that. We'll set up the demo, walk you through things. If you see any of the emails we've sent talking about this, click the form, fill the form out. We'll reach out, schedule a good time for you. A lot of salespeople tell you there's no pressure. There's no pressure. We're confident in what we have. We like telling the story and showing you how things work, and we're always happy to do that.
Yeah, it's about, and again, we got 25 years of it. We know that you have the conversations today, you build the relationships. For those that aren't ready to move forward, we just want to maintain the relationship and the conversation. I mean, it may be 10 years down the road that you're ready to make a software choice. Now you know us, you know what we have. So we're going to invest in you as if you're a customer, even if you're not currently.
Yeah.
Beautifully
I think
said.
It was beautifully said. I think that, we've been investing in kind of the success of independently owned bike shops for 25 years. POS was just the next logical step to kind of fill out our offerings to better serve that community. I'm really excited to do so. So just like Mark said, it's super easy to get in touch, whether you're just curious, whether you feel like we really spoke to you, you're one of those retailers, those underserved retailers. Now I feel like all of a sudden I'm in an infomercial. Reach out. Mark likes to talk to people. Worst case, he likes to hear his own voice. So
I do. Well, look, you think of it like this: you could have your very own private podcast. We'll just talk about point of sale and websites and marketing.
I see the phones lighting up now, Mark.
Roll calls. Oh yeah, we have to take some live callers.
It is an easy process, and it is. Brian and I we promise to make it as entertaining and informative and short. We won't take a ton of your time, but if you do move forward, that's the other question we get all the time. How do we get started? Our onboarding team and the processes they've dialed in, and as somebody who worked on those processes for years and never could get it to where it was right, they've got it really dialed. So whether it's just the point of sale features, whether you're looking to do that and get into e-commerce, whatever that is, we've got an onboarding process. We'll make it easy. We do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. We're educational, and every subscription here comes with that support, and that support includes training. So if we need to teach you or your team how to use the technology, we're really good at that too.
Yeah, and I think about at least half of our support team has direct bike shop experience, and not just like part-time summer job. I mean, we have managers, former owners, just career bike shop people. So you've got a partner in making it happen.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm glad we had a chance to talk about it. I certainly hope, that those listening, you're in that group who's focused on what am I going to do to work on my business this winter. The industry is, this is an important time. I've been doing this for, I guess, over 30 years now. I've seen a lot of change cycles. This one's pretty real, and I think that listeners see it. And so now's the time to at least take a look. What am I going to do different next year that's going to get me the results I want? Because we're kind of moving past that phase of market forces driving the business cycle. But that doesn't mean change is going to stop. Change is happening all around us, and we really want to be a part of helping, more and more bike shops stay competitive.
Well, we'd love to talk to you. Whatever you want to know more about, or we're happy to have that conversation, help you with your business. And until then, we'll see you around the Workstand.
Can I wave? Is that okay?
I guess.
See you, everybody.